What's up, Spell Slingers? It's Chris, Legendary Mana, and it's time to talk preview cards, where we provide our opinions on cards from the newest set coming out. This episode, we're talking Hour of Devastation. We have chosen our favorite 10 cards that have been previewed so far and discuss our thoughts where we see the cards played the most. As always, please let us know in the comments below what you think about the cards and this video. Now, there are a lot of new cards that have decent power, so before we get into our list, we have some honorable mentions we would like to highlight. This is our 5 honorable mentions. Number 5 is God Pharaoh's Gift. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. It gains haste until the end of turn. This card, although it has a high mana cost, could be huge and limited, especially for those heavy creature decks. This may not shine beyond that. It's possible that it sees some constructed play and possibly some EDH decks. Overall, good card, especially when a token stays in the battlefield instead of leaving at your end step. Keep in mind, this is not just a 4/4 zombie. It's a copy that, in addition, is a zombie. All abilities and effects will apply to that token. Ramanop Hydra. Vigilance, Reach, Trample. Ramanop gets +1/+1 as long as you control a desert. Ramanop gets +1/+1 if there's a desert card in your graveyard. 4 mana for a 3/3 that gets pumped up with your lands. If the desert interaction works out and it's viable, we could see this card taking off in Constructed. In Limited, if you have 1 or more deserts, and in green, you'll likely want to play this. Torment of Scarabs. Enchant player. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player loses 3 life unless he or she sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. I really want to love this card. The challenge is it's 4 mana. Now, I get it, it's an uncommon, but if they made this 3 mana and made it a rare, this card would be bonkers. The card being on the upper curve range keeps it out of Modern, but could end up being sick in EDH. Limited, I will be taking it for sure. Supreme Will. Choose 1. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3, or look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 1 of them in your hand and the rest at the bottom of your library in any order. Mana Leak, Meet, Anticipate. Just slap 1 more mana of any color and it's a marriage made in heaven. Now I know what you're going to say. 3 mana counterspell, it's too slow. But honestly, I think it has the flexibility to be a great addition to Izzet control decks. Oketra's Last Mercy. Your life total becomes equal to your starting life total. Lands you control don't untap during your next untap step. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. Wait, let me read this again. Your life total becomes lands. 3 mana to reset your life? Who cares about lands not untapping? If you are in dire straits and you're about to lose the game, you're playing this 100%. Sign me up. Thank you very much. My only gripe, it's not an instant. Moving on, this is our top 10 cards that have been previewed so far from Hour of Devastation. Let's get right into it. Ramanop Excavator. You may play land cards from your graveyard. This card plays right into the land cycling mechanic in this block. Not only can you cycle your land, but after you draw your card, and you didn't play a land this turn, you can play it anyways. It's basically free card draw. And who doesn't like that? Limited bomb for sure. Reason to Live. Reason. Scry 3 for 1 blue mana. Live Aftermath. 1 green, 4 of any color. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you may reveal it and put it into the battlefield. Otherwise, put that card in your hand. 1 mana Scry 3. This card, although not really bonkers, is a good one nonetheless. Also, this has a lot of constructive potential in most formats. This will really shine in Limited, and let's not forget the late game potential to take your bomb and put it directly onto the battlefield. I feel a Nissa deck coming our way real soon. Kenra Eternal, 2/2, Afflict 1. Even though it's a common, it's a 2/2 for 2 with Afflict 1. That's good value. With zombies being a thing right now and blue getting a zombie lord, the battlefield is going to be infested with them very soon. This card will likely see play in all versions of the zombie decks. Hostile Desert. Tap, add 1 colorless to your mana pool. Tap 2, exile land from your graveyard. Hostile Desert becomes a 3/4 elemental creature until the end of turn. It's still a land. Manlands continue to be a thing, except I think this one has potential to be the best we've seen. It will be interesting to see some land cycling strategies work with this card. It could be great or disappear. Emit Eternal. Zombie Crocodile Demon, Afflict 3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a -1/-1 counter on Emit Eternal. When Emit Eternal deals combat damage to a player, remove all -1/-1 counters from it. At first glance, I didn't think much about this card, but if you combine it with the Zombie Lords and Liliana's Magistry, suddenly this card looks pretty good. Even though it gets -1/-1 counters, give this thing Menace, and either your opponent is forced to block and take 3 damage, or it gets reset. I'm not sure it'll be easy to kill when in the right deck. And let's not forget that 3 damage is redirectable to Planeswalkers. This by far could be the most underrated zombie or even creature in Hour of Devastation. Abrade. Choose 1. Abrade deals 3 damage to target creature, or destroy target artifact. Probably one of the best removal cards printed in Standard as of late. This will clearly stand out as one of the best in-class removal spells in Standard. This card will likely see play in modern decks and could be responsible for Jund to exist competitively again. Keep an eye on this one. Solminity. Players can't get counters. Counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands. Some may say this could be the all-star of the set, and by all rights, it's a great card. With it in the critical 3 mana slot, I am not sure if taking a turn off to play this will make sense. With the amount of removal in Standard right now, it's likely it won't see much competitive play until after rotation, but we'll see. Hour of Revelation. Hour of Revelation costs 3 less to cast if there are 10 or more non-land permanents on the battlefield. Destroy all non-land permanents. This card is interesting to me. Right now it's a 3, but depending on how the meta shakes out, it could fall outside of the top 10. With a 3 white in its casting cost, it limits its use to mono white or primarily white decks. I love this card out of the gate, but it's starting to fall as we see more cards. It will likely be tough to play in Limited. Nimble Obstructionist. Flash, flying, cycling for 3. When you cycle, Nimble, counter target activated or triggered ability you don't control. On the surface, this card seems okay. 3 mana for a 3/1 flyer is good, but adding flash and countering activated or triggered abilities and getting a card out of it is boss in the current Standard. This likely will become a Limited all-star. Torment of Hailfire. Repeat the following process X times. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. This card is bonkers. 2 black X to repeat 3 damage unless they sack a creature or discard a card. So wait a minute, a single X. That means if you top deck on turn 4 or 5, you can effectively make them sacrifice creatures, discard most of their hand, or they're taking 6 to 9 damage. Okay, let that sink in for a moment. Yes, that's insane. I know it's sorcery speed, but who cares? It's hands down my favorite card in the set so far. This, I believe, is the most playable card in every format. If you don't agree, that's fine. Just make sure you come back and watch this video again to remind yourself that you saw it here first. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to hit that like button. We're going to make this a regular series moving forward when new sets come out. So make sure you subscribe to get notified when those videos are released. Once the full set is revealed and after pre-release, we will review the whole set and share what we experienced at our event. Thanks again for watching, and I bid you farewell until next time.